Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Nick from NorthCode. I want to thank you all for your support to the channel. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you turn on notifications. For today, what we're talking about is Bitcoin. We're going to go through Bitcoin on the various time frames. So the first time frame we're going to look at is Bitcoin on the hourly. Earlier this morning, there was a huge spike of volume. Now, this sharp increase in volume is a really, really good signal, especially on the lower time frame. So originally, the price action was pretty bearish, but this candle looks like as price went lower, there probably was a lot of buying orders that were set. Buying volume kicked in. This was good for the bulls, and the candle ended up closing right above the support level here at about $40.6 thousand. Has the trend changed? Earlier this morning, I posted a chart about this and analysis in our Telegram group. What I was talking about was we need to start seeing candles begin to close above these moving averages and above key levels of support. What we can also identify looking at this pattern is that price action is still inside of a consolidation channel. The top is about $42.2 to $42.5 thousand, and our bottom is sitting at around $40,000. Right now, we're still in this consolidation channel. In order for this to fully reverse, we need price action to basically move above here, right? Even if it rejects up in this area here, we still need it to come back down for a throwback and have confirmation with that move, allowing it to then start to swing to the next level. If we zoom in onto the 4-hour, we have the sharp increase in that volume can help us to indicate that trend reversal. So from a 4-hour perspective, similar to the 1-hour, what we need to see is Bitcoin start to close above these moving averages. We know that there is a level of resistance at the 34 EMA, and then we have the 50 EMA sitting above here. But now if we go to the daily, we have that $40,000 level of support. This is a very key range because we got rejection, 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 throwback successfully, retested it for support. And we've come back all the way around now, and now we're retesting the lower range in support. If price action were to break below here, what that means is it opens up price action to all of these lower levels into the 30s. If this were to break, here's our next structural baseline of support. So price action has to start to close above the 8 EMA and start to make moves up towards the 20 SMA. There is a very, very key level of support right in that area. And I would expect that once price action eventually works itself out, and let's just say 40K holds support, if price action were to round off here, okay, so if it were to round off here and start to make moves up, we're going to be looking for price action to move into this zone here at about $45,000 to $46,000. And I would assume that the 20 SMA and some of these other moving averages are going to start to also come down as well and enter the zone and act as a form of resistance. And we can see that there is confluence then in this range. So this is the next key level, right? We have our base here, and we're trading at the bottom. Now, once again, we're looking for price action. If you're a bull, you're looking for price action to close above the 8 EMA and start to make higher lows into this range right here of resistance. So that is the first thing we're looking for, is for that type of strategy or pattern to play out. At that point, if price action is able to get back up to this range, the question then turns, okay, well, is it going to break through or is it going to reject, right? Because if it's going to break through, it'll probably have some form of a pullback, but if it can manage to find some support, create that higher low, we can then start to move higher, right? And do something like this. And I'll just extend this a little further out, but you can then start to see we're creating higher lows and we're starting to break above these lower high structures, right? That's ultimately what we need to do to confirm that we are ultimately breaking out of this downtrend. Now, on the flip side of that, we could ultimately also see price action completely reject here and have that pullback successfully occur, and no lower high is created, or higher low, excuse me, and price action continues further down, right? And then we get our pullback here, and it could send price even lower, right? Back to that $30,000 level. Now, the other thing I want to talk about with this daily chart, using Fibonacci, we can start to see how price action is responding to these levels. But the other thing to note is the 786 fib is sitting right at around 37.8, 37.7K, 37.6K. It's in that pocket range. And, it does sit very, very well in confluence with this cluster of price action here. We are already trading below the 618 golden ratio. So we've already lost that range and that support level. I wouldn't be surprised to see price action dip down into the 37 to 38K range. Okay, we've already started to get below 40K. So I wouldn't be surprised to sweep this low right here. If we start to break 786 fib in this range, this really starts to open the door to these lower price levels, sitting around $30,000. Jump to the weekly. We can see that, the 618 has broken through support here, like I showed on the daily. And now we got our 786 sitting in this pocket range right here. These levels are very, very important. $40,000. If that breaks, we're probably looking into the mid 30s. And then our absolute baseline support for Bitcoin is sitting in the lower 30 range. Okay. And the last thing to talk about is the correlation between the dollar and Bitcoin. Okay, so here's the dollar on the daily in the candlesticks, and I'm comparing it to Bitcoin, which is this orange line right here. And the reason I've brought them both up is at the moment, with all of the fundamental news with COVID, with interest rates, with quantitative tightening occurring, which is the opposite of quantitative easing, also with inflation projections, a lot of this has a huge impact on the dollar, and it also has a huge impact on traditional markets and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And anytime we start to see, very strong moves in price action with the dollar, as in the dollar increasing in price or in value, Bitcoin responds in a negative way. So if we look in this area here, we can see the dollar has moved up. And while this is occurring, we can see Bitcoin is depreciating in value. However, when Bitcoin starts to appreciate in value, we can see that the dollar is losing value. Bitcoin has gone up, the dollar has also increased, but as you can see here, as the dollar goes down, Bitcoin is increasing in price and in value. What we're currently seeing is that there is strength in the dollar right now, and it's a lot of strength based off fundamental news, right, from the Fed. And as we can see, Bitcoin's price is heavily correcting back down, while the dollar continues increasing in value. What we need to see at this point now, we need to see the dollar start to break down, right? We're already seeing price action closing below some of these moving averages. There is a level of resistance pretty much right where price action is trading at the moment. Okay, we can see that, lots of support on this line, but we can also see, lower highs are starting to form. Okay. And we could start to see price action start to close below the 50. Now, the 50 has held good support all along this way here, right? Even here. However, if we start to slip below this and see the dollar start to slip, right? Just from a technical perspective, this could start to we could start to see the price action dip to, 95.5 and go as low as 94.5. Now, ultimately, this would be a very good sign for Bitcoin, because then we would start to see the price of Bitcoin start to find some legs and start to move up in price, right? Meanwhile, we would see the dollar start to depreciate in value. Again, big thank you to all of you for subscribing to the channel. Please make sure you like this video, turn on the notifications as well. And if you're not following us in our Telegram channel, I'm sharing a lot of great content. Like I said, I talked about the CPI inflation data that's coming out on Wednesday. I've also been showing on-chain analytics and price action on Bitcoin. Thank you once again for being here. Have a great one. Be safe, be healthy. Take care.